ロサンゼルスドジャースは現地時間6日、日本時間では同日、敵地でフィラデルフィア・フィリーズとの3連戦第2戦に臨み、3対1で勝利を収めました。これにより、前日に開幕からの連勝が止まった悔しさを晴らす形となりました。1番、指名打者で先発出場した大谷翔平は、3打数無安打、1四球という成績でした。また、今季3度目の先発登板となった佐々木朗希投手は、4回、68球を投げて1失点、被安打3、4奪三振、2四球という内容で降板し、メジャー初勝利とはなりませんでした。この日の試合では、プレー以外でも注目を集めた場面がありました。それはチームのセレブレーションです。フィリーズ戦で本塁打を放ったキケ・ヘルナンデス選手をはじめ、ヒットを打ったムーキー・ベッツ選手やマックス・マンシー選手らが次々と、大谷翔平がコスメデコルテの美容液 CM で見せる、2本の指を使って目元を横に滑らせるポーズを披露しました。このポーズは、大谷がサヨナラ本塁打を放った際にも見られ、前日にはエドマン選手も本塁打後に同様のセレブレーションを行っています。試合前には、ミゲル・ロハス選手が、翔平の CM からのポーズだよ、と話し、チーム全体で楽しんでいる様子がうかがえました。ロサンゼルスの地元放送局、スポーツネット LA でも、この、デコルテポーズについて話題となっておりましたので、日本語字幕付きでその模様をご紹介いたします。
For as great as Shohei Otani's 2024 season was, he's actually off to a better start through 9 games here in 2025. And soon we're going to see him pitching again as he comes back from a second major elbow surgery. Kirsten Watson is in Philadelphia right now. She joins us live with more on Shohei in our injury report brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC. Hi, Kirsten.
Hi, Don. Well, if you think about just with that start offensively to the 2025 season, that's exactly where he wanted to be. He spoke with the media after spring training before the team headed to Tokyo, talking about how he was going to slow down his pitching program. They were going to slow down on the bullpens. He wasn't going to be off the mound, just throwing off of flat ground. When the team got back to Los Angeles from Tokyo, that's when he re-picked up with his bullpens. He actually threw another one today, and Dave Roberts, they talked about how this was a mental as well as a physical reset. But of course, he's continuing to move in the right direction. Dave Roberts today talked about just how the bullpen session went today for Shohei and what is expected to be next for him on the pitching side.
I heard it was 25 pitches. It was fastball change. Not sure if he threw any splits in there. Haven't debriefed with the pitching coaches, but they said, from what I heard, it was positive. His next one will be a touch and feel on Thursday, and then he'll do another full one next Saturday. So still won't be facing hitters yet, so we're not there yet.
Like a number of pitches you'd want him to get to, or, you know, pitches he's able to throw before then he can get to facing?
Yeah, I think that the next phase would be using his entire pitch mix, and then that would entail probably like a 30 to 35 pitch bullpen. So that's kind of the next step, yeah.
With Shohei, why so long between bullpen sessions? A week between? Are we still looking at slow play?
Yeah, I think that it's actually a week, but then there's also the one in between where he touches him out on a Thursday. And I think it's just more of trying to keep him on a similar, like, 7-day program on what the schedule would look going out and build from there.
So like Dave Roberts said, for Shohei Otani, his throwing program, it looks like pretty much a weekly bullpen, and that's going to be a similar schedule for him once he gets back onto the big league mound and back into regular season games. Like you said for today, or actually if we go back to Los Angeles, we should start with this one. With the pitch mix in his bullpen was primarily fastball, mixed in a few two-seamers in there. This one today, Dave Roberts didn't have exactly what the pitch mix was. So the hope one is that soon he'll be able to bring in his full pitch mix once he starts facing hitters. He is going to still be with the big league team. He's not going to go on a rehab assignment, but they've been adamant they don't want to put a timeline on his return, so they're going to give him as much time as he needs till he feels ready. But I think it's clear that Shohei's looking forward with each week getting closer and closer to being back on the big league mound, guys.
That's right. We will see him throw some simulated games before he does return to the Dodgers. Kirsten, thank you very much. Meantime, on the mound for the Dodgers today, it's going to be Roki Sasaki. His first start was back in his home country of Japan. His next one came in front of the Dodger faithful at the Ravine, but this is going to be his first true road test, Nomar. And for a guy who right now is not exactly exuding confidence, this is a tough test to go into that kind of environment and perform.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, I go, you're going to Philly. I go, there are places where you know when you're going in as an opposing team, you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear it, and he's going to feel it there, and you got to block it all out. You got to channel and have your focus and bring it and be, you know, what we talked about, Dave, you have to be aggressive. You have to go out there and believe you are the man, and you have to take it to him. You can't be passive, especially in an environment like Philly.
I love the fact that, look at the spectrum. Tokyo, Dodger Stadium, Philly. I just love that he's getting a chance to experience this. And this is going to be a really good test, and this is going to help him. I really believe it's going to help him pitch in San Francisco and other environments and be ready for the postseason. So should be a tough test for Sasaki.
And it's a piece of cake to start the game today, really, for Aaron Nola.
Yeah, it should be.
First batter that Aaron Nola faces today is the subject of stargazing presented by Deborah Heart and Lung Center. Just some guy named Shohei Otani, three-time MVP. Went 1 for 4 with a strikeout last night. Got caught stealing as well, but he's hitting .324 in 9 games this season, 11 hits and 34 at-bats. Last season, he hit .310 with 54 home runs, 130 runs batted in, and 59 stolen bases. The first 50-50 season in baseball history. Rick, how should Aaron Nola approach Shohei Otani today?
I think sinkers down and away, something that's moving away from him could benefit Nola. The other thing is, if you're going to throw that curveball, you better make sure it's down. You get it up, he's going to launch. There's no doubt in my mind. I also think you could sneak in some four-seam fastballs in on the hands, in just under the hands. I think that's a good spot against Otani. And then maybe rise it up with an 0-2, 1-2 count above the strike zone.
On a 2-2 from Nola. Yanks one down the line. It's a fair ball. And extra bases for Muncy. He was due. And he's got himself a double.
See, law of averages, right?
Uh-huh. Ooh, little addition to the Freddie. Any guesses?
I'm not sure what that could be. One too many knuckle curves from Nola. Muntz does a nice job. A little hip gyration, and then he didn't get it. Little slide across the face.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some sort of mask.
A little bit like disco dancing there. Let's check in with Kirsten Watson.
Yeah, Joe. Well, for Max Muncy, not only was he just due for that swing, but he's been saying that. We all saw the last game in Los Angeles. He brought out the torpedo bat, used it for 3 at-bats before getting that double at the end of the game where he went back to his gray one, the same one he's using. But as much as he's felt that the torpedo bat maybe isn't necessarily for him for game use, he did find that it was really helpful for just his bat path. And so he does feel that it's something that he might use pregame, whether it's in the batting cage or underneath. So that is something he does like about it. Now, just to quickly address the over-the-eye celebration, it's coming from a Shohei Otani commercial.
Oh.
That is where it's from, and so now they've added it into the mix, guys.
Well, there are about 74 Otani commercials.
Right. It's true.
Yeah. It could be for a bank. It could be for Hugo Boss. Could be a shoe company. Could be tea. You name it. Could be eyewear.
Moves the ball around.
Hernandez launches a ball towards the left field corner and gone. Kike Hernandez on the first pitch hooks a home run inside the pole. Shohei does his best Shohei impression there with a home run. It's Kike's third, and the third that he's hit against Nola.
And clearly, Roki Sasaki, Jerry, had been working on those mechanics in between starts. He said he felt like something clicked in a bullpen a couple days ago, and that today seemed like everything seemed to come together for him for the most part.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There's a lot left in the tank, and he showed what he has. Outstanding stuff. We know the fastball is elite, 95 to 98 miles an hour. When he's getting that over for strikes, that's when you see the chase of the split. If he's not throwing strikes with the fastball or the split, I mean, that pitch right there gave him confidence. But look at the late-breaking forkball / split. It's violence at the very end. Here, Castellano, it looks like a fastball in the hands, and this is why You get him a chase because it darts out of the zone. But getting back to when we talked about Sasaki in the pregame show, he had to work on his mechanics, make sure he has a repeat delivery so he can release the ball on time and be able to command the strike zone. Now, the first inning was a little bit of hiccup, but he found his groove in that second inning. Tell you what, he's going to go back and look at the video and say, you know what, there's a lot I can learn from this. And you know what, I could also throw strikes against a very, very good Phillies lineup as well as other big leaguers and command that strike zone. Really good to see.
You know, early on in that first inning, I mean, I thought the Phillies' approach was the way it was supposed to be. Look for the fastball. You can't establish a fastball for a strike, so look for it in your zone. You know, and a lot of times early on, you're going, okay, I'll look for that fastball, maybe middle, maybe a little up, because we know he has a split finger. And when he throws that split finger, if it's down, it's going to be a ball. So I don't have to worry about that. So I don't have to chase it. I can look up, and until he proves that he can throw his pitches for a strike, that's all I have to do. So they did that. They were ready for fastballs early on. We saw Trey Turner do that. You saw early on with Kyle Schwarber getting a fastball too. He got in a count. He wasn't chasing. He was really patient and looking for that fastball he could handle. And then I think that strikeout against Bryce Harper in that first inning was really huge for Sasaki. I think it settled him down, and only just giving up with that one run in that first inning was big. But he started to establish that fastball with a strike, started getting ahead of hitters. He started going out there. Now, all of a sudden, you started seeing the Philly batters start chasing some of those pitches because of that.
This is his third outing that we saw at the big league level. Obviously, Tokyo, we saw it at Dodger Stadium. The strikeouts to Schwarber and Castellanos was the first time I've said, uh-oh. That's the first time I've seen. Now, I saw film on him in Japan, and John, that last start at Dodger Stadium, I told you right away, I go, he doesn't have it. I could just tell. But those pitches he made to Schwarber and Castellanos, that's the Sasaki I remember pitching at from Japan. Nasty.
And Nomar, he talked about having split command and how important that is for him because, as you guys know, the split finger, the true split finger, it does look more like a fastball coming out of their hand, right? Where his is that fork ball, like Jerry was saying, and it knuckles a lot more. And so they can recognize that. And if he doesn't have command with it, a lot of times you might see them. Like the Phillies looked like they were spitting on it anytime they saw it come out of his hand.
Yeah, and then when you, but the other thing though too is when you have a fastball that goes in the upper 90s and you're establishing that, you see those over the middle of the plate, they were ready for that first inning. Schwarber gets a fastball he can handle. Then you see that, well, now look at that breaking ball right there. I mean, that breaking ball, when it's coming in, there's that fork. But where did it start? It didn't start down. It started in the zone. And that's why you get that swing and miss. And then he comes back and then he challenges that, trusting that, listen, you still can go out there and attack hitters with that fastball, even within the zone. Much better pitch with that fastball. Right there. You see the natural tail we were talking about before the game, and I said you got to go inside out. It has to start there, and it had a nice little run to it, and it ended up catching the corner. It ends up missing the barrel. All you have to do is not necessarily always just about swing and miss. It's always about missing a barrel, almost like with a cutter. A cutter's job isn't to get a swing and miss. A cutter is to miss the sweet spot of the barrel, maybe jamming it off the end of the bat. And his fastball can do that as well when it's starting in the zone and get those rollovers or those miss hits as well. And then all of a sudden you're going, wait a minute, he's throwing a strike down there with a fastball. All of a sudden that forkball starts there as well. You can't take it because you're like, is it going to drop as much? Is it going to be a strike on me? I have to swing.
And here's the difference between a split and a forkball. The split, like you mentioned, John, it looks like a fastball. It's more straight at you and then kind of darts out of the zone. Sometimes you throw the split, but he also gets more violent with it. A forkball, it's more like a knuckling action, and then it just darts out of the zone. And it kind of starts higher, like the one he threw to Bryce Harper and the one he threw to Schwarber. That split he threw to Castellanos, it's different. Similar grip, but it's different. But I love that he has those two pitches because as we saw, when it is on, when he's spotting that fastball to go with it, he's tough to deal with.